Now, another thing, probably the third thing that I was thinking about with 2023 is mess ups. So where did I mess up? Interestingly, 2023 hasn't been a year for complete disasters for me. I've certainly had them over the years. I've had things go wrong. I've had, probably every different type of thing that can happen become a disaster. And it's a testament to sticking in and grinding through, and that not expecting that things are always going to be rosy, expecting that things are going to go wrong. And when they do go wrong, you can react and adapt pretty well. And when you adapt pretty well, what it means is that you start to recognize the patterns of when things go wrong. And typically what happens is when you recognize things, when you start out, you don't recognize them until they're too late. I'm sure that'll be familiar to you all. And then when it's too late, there's very little change that you can make. When you go through enough mistakes, what you find is you can recognize that pattern much, much earlier, which means that you can pivot, you can take change, you can influence the direction that it goes, you can catch it, you can stop the rot, whatever the particular circumstance is, and that means that you can improve the situation. You can either limit how much the damage is, you can limit the downside, or you can actually turn it around into a positive. And those are the things that you want. Those are the things that you want to instill in your mindset, in the way that you are and the way you think. So what I would say is, leading into this coming year, we hope that we're going to do a better job in 2024 than we are in 2023, because conditions haven't been ideal. There's a lot of things coming up in 2024 that will it can be make or break for the particular parts. I mean, we've got things like the unrest in America. We've got the election coming up. We've got central banks that have sort of ramped up interest rates. We'll have a lot of people coming off cheap mortgage rates. The peak of those will be in 2024 when the fixed rates come to an end. So there'll be a lot of situations that might, depending on what happens, will dictate how these things roll in the property market, in the political arena, at government level. So there's a lot of things that are there, and that's why I think that it's a very, very important time to come together. If you've got a common good, if you've got a set of principles that you want to apply, the power of a group is really, really important. So if you're going into 2024, what I would recommend is that you get around, the best group of people that you can, because there's an old saying that I remember reading about years ago, which said, hang around with better people because their habits will rub off on you. I've always tried to be the dumbest person in the room, because you want to be around people that are smarter, brighter, more sharp, more developed, more skilled, whatever talents that they have, whatever attributes, you can learn from them. And we've got a great situation now in this world that we have the technology to be able to be a global village, in terms of we can be in that room, not necessarily physically, but as good as clear as makes no difference. We can listen, we can visually see, we can interact, with our devices. So it brings a power to it. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff, the 2023 has been the rise of AI. So I remember going into the first part of 2023, there was particular hot, investment vehicles, and that was dumped as soon as the rise of AI and things like ChatGPT arrived on the scene. And that's another thing, is that one of the things that's came out of 2023 is, first of all, the power in terms of the tool that AI can be, and that these AI tools seem to be here to stay, whether we like it or not. But there's a lot of people out there that maybe have a profession or a job or a business that AI might be displacing. But on the other side of that, what I've noticed is that there, as much as that wave's been, and we can see how impactful AI has been, there's also a desire for a human feel. There's that particular way that things go that we know if it's real or if it's not. And there seems to be a rising sense that we would like to have that in our lives, and we might prefer a human dealing with it and than an AI tool. So I'll give you an example is that someone, I remember a few years ago, someone says, would you get on a plane if the pilot was, just, autopilot? So a plane can land and take off and fly, and it would just be, a computer that's doing it. I says, I think that these tools are great, and I think that they've got their place, but I would much prefer that there was a human there. I know that we make errors. I know that there's been lots of pilot errors over the years, but call me old-fashioned, but I'd like to know that we can have all these tools, but there's a human overseeing it, because in the event that the machines don't work, who are you going to fall back on? And I always believe that you're probably better to have a human at the controls, because as powerful as AI is, the most powerful computer in the world is between your ears, and it's sense and feel and intuition. It's got a lot of powerful tools that maybe AI will get there, but as it stands just now, I think I'll stick with the humans. One last thing I would say about 2023 is that there's a lot going on in the world, but it's given, you can see a shift in people, and that desire for things that are real rather than things that are flexed. That desire for seeing the real people is more important than the lifestyle or the glam or the flex or whatever it may be, the type. And it gives people hope, because see, at the end of the day, we're all human, we're all striving, we're all trying to improve, we're all trying to get better. We hit bumps in the road, and it can be difficult. It can certainly be difficult, particularly if you're coming to the end of this year and going into next year. You maybe want to start thinking about your own recap. How did you do? How was your performance? How did you, what did you achieve this year? What did you not achieve that you wanted to? Did you give it your all? Did you give it your best try? Did your inner voice get the better of you? Did that get a hold of you? Did you give in to the comfort, the weakness? What was the things that you wanted to go and see? Where was the places you wanted to visit? Did you spend enough time working on yourself? Did you develop your relationships? Did you develop your business? All these things you want to have in your 2024. As I said, there's lots of things that are coming up. We really need you at the top of your game. You've no idea how important it is that you're at the top of your game. Is a community spirit. We're all a big global village. If there's ever a time for us as a race to get improving and keep developing and get better, this is the time. This is the time to do it.